Nothing kills speed in breaststroke more than painfully slow recoveries of the arms and the breath after the pull. Swimmers are in a position where they're creating a ton of resistance, they're creating absolutely no propulsion, yet they have absolutely no urgency to get out of that position and start kicking and pulling again. Let's fix that. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. After swimmers take their pull, their head is up, the hips are down, and their arms are plowing forward through the water. And of course, they're not kicking at that point anyway because they've got to get back in the line before they execute the kick. Yet for some reason, this motion seems to take so much time for so many swimmers, and it's absolutely killing their speed. If we can help swimmers get through the arm recovery faster, get through the breath recovery faster, and get back into a line faster and better, they're going to be able to create a lot more speed because the total amount of resistance they create is going to be a lot lower, and they're going to be able to get back into creating propulsion with both the kick and the pull a whole lot faster. Let's take a look at how to make it happen. The slowest position in swimming is in breaststroke after swimmers have completed their pull, after they've taken their breath, but they haven't yet recovered the arms or the breath. There's zero propulsion, the arms aren't doing anything anymore, the legs aren't in position to do anything yet, and they're creating a ton of resistance. The head's up, the hip's going to be down, and the arms are trying to move forward through the water. They're creating no speed, they're slowing down, and in some swimmers, they can even come to a stop. And so this is a position that swimmers do not want to be in when they're swimming. And in many cases, they can't. And in many cases, it's limited by the arms because if the arms aren't recovering quickly, they can't recover from the breath, and so they're stuck in that position. And even though this is the worst position possible in swimming, a lot of swimmers just hang out, they wait, they take their time, and they are not aggressive in terms of recovering the arms and recovering the breath. And as a result, they don't swim nearly as fast as they otherwise could. Now, the obvious solution is just to tell swimmers to move their hands faster. They need to recover faster, get back in a line faster, get your hands forward faster. All these different suggestions are well-intentioned. Unfortunately, they're not always particularly effective. Especially in this case, telling them what to do doesn't necessarily get the result. A lot of times, they just don't get it. They don't appreciate how aggressive they need to be. They think that they're already doing it fast, and they can't even conceive that they'd be able to move their arms faster. They already think they're at the limit, and so when you ask them to go faster, maybe they go 1 or 2% faster. To them, it feels like 100% faster, but nothing really changes. In order to combat that, we need to get their attention. We need consequences for poor and sloppy recoveries. We need clear and impactful feedback so they can't deny that what they're doing is not nearly as effective as what they could be doing, and that's going to create the change that we're looking for, and when they can make the change, they can create the speed. One of my favorite strategies to create change is through forced aggression. And so rather than telling them to recover the arms faster, we put drag socks on their arms and make them recover the arms with more aggression. It's going to be a whole lot harder to get the arms through the water with that resistance, and so they're going to have to put a lot more effort, they're going to have to put a lot more intention in order to make that happen, or their timing is going to be completely thrown off. So they've got to figure out how to put some effort into the recoveries, how to put some urgency into the recoveries, and once they can feel it, then they can start to make changes. So we have a few different options here in regards to making that happen. So the first is that they can wear the drag socks like so they've just got the band just like they'd put it on their feet. The other option is to bunch the drag socks up so it's a much more confined space, but it's going to be bigger, there's going to be more resistance on it. Both those strategies are really useful for creating the resistance that's required to get swimmers to be more aggressive. You can also change where you place the band, so you can have the band on the wrist, the forearm, or even the elbow. And again, that's going to create a little bit of a different feel. It's going to challenge the recovery in a little bit different way, and that's going to help them get a better understanding of how they need to recover the arms and the aggression that they need to have. This strategy is particularly effective because they have to be aggressive. They can't be passive, they got to be intentional, or else they're going to get slowed down and slowed down a ton. And so again, rather than telling them to recover the arms faster, recover the arms more aggressively, put them in a situation where they have to make that happen. If you don't have access to drag socks, any sort of clothing can work. You can tie t-shirts or pair of shorts, whatever you have that's available, you can tie that around the wrist, tie that around the elbow. That's going to work in a similar manner. There's almost always a way to use this concept, and the concept is find a way to resist the recoveries, and that's going to challenge swimmers to recover those arms more aggressively, and that's going to allow them to get back into an effective position a whole lot faster. So here you can see it in action. He's wearing it on his wrists, and that's going to allow him to be challenged, to really force him to be more aggressive with the recoveries as he moves through each one. The resistance is going to force him to put more effort into each one. Take the resistance off, it's going to be a whole lot easier. Now we'll take a look at the drag socks being used in a different way, in a different position. So here they're bunched up instead of being open, and they're on the elbow instead of on the wrist. And so a different challenge, it's just going to feel different, and it's going to force him to be aggressive with the recoveries in a different way. And again, once they can figure out how to be aggressive in this context, it's a lot easier to be aggressive without the drag socks. So while just resisting the recoveries can be effective, you want to challenge the skill to take it to the next level. So you can add performance expectations. You're asking them to hit certain speeds, certain stroke counts, especially stroke rates to keep the rate up. You're asking them to do it in states of fatigue. You can change the location of the resistance like I just talked about, the elbow, the wrist, the forearm. You can have them bunch up the resistance or wear the resistance. You can also change the breathing pattern, so they're going to have to recover aggressively when the head's up, when the head's down, when they're breathing regular, or when they're alternating between different breathing patterns. You can also change the kick between breast, flutter, and dolphin. And when you use breast and flutter, it's going to allow them to use higher rates because the breaststroke kick isn't there to slow them down. And again, that's another way to challenge the skill to get them using faster and faster rates and recovering more and more aggressively. So the strategy in and of itself is a good one, but there's all these different options you can use to challenge them to take it to the next level. So here are a couple of examples of how you can apply this strategy to challenge swimmers. So the first set, they're going to go 4 rounds through. They're going to go 650s. The first one's with snorkel. The first one's with a snorkel, so they're not breathing. We've got drag socks on the arms, 25 dolphin, 25 breast. Then they're going to go the same thing, head up breaststroke, and then they're going to breathe every other stroke. Then they're going to alternate head up, so 1 stroke head up, 1 stroke regular. Then they're going to go regular breaststroke, and then they're going to take the drag socks off, and by round, descend those 1 to 4 to solid. So we'll change where the drag socks are by round, odds bunched on the elbow, evens bunched on the wrist. We're challenging them to use higher rates with the dolphin kick, and we're challenging them to use different breathing patterns, and we're challenging them to put it all together, all while resisting the arm recoveries. They're going to have to be aggressive, they're going to have to be direct, they're going to have to be effective. Next set has a little bit more of a speed focus. So we're going breaststroke with flutter kick in the socks. They're going to build to fast. And then on the next one, it's just regular breaststroke, build to fast. And then it's going to go breaststroke with flutter kick fast and then breaststroke fast. So the first 2 reps with the drag socks are going to encourage swimmers to be aggressive with the arm recoveries, and then they can let it rip on the regular speed reps without the resistance. On the odd rounds, drag socks on the wrist, even rounds, drag socks on the elbow. So a great way to challenge swimmers to execute these skills. The first set, a little bit more skill focused. The second set, a little bit more speed focused. In both cases, if they're passive with the recoveries, if they're not being aggressive, they're going to get punished. They're going to struggle, so they're going to learn really fast that they need to be aggressive, they need to be intentional, they need to be focused with the arm recoveries, and that's going to transfer over to their regular swimming. If you want to learn more about how to improve a related skill, breathing in breaststroke, check out the video below.